Vabbè, dai, Danilo, dai, Federico, dai, che salta, podcastevolo di più. Dai, Danilo, dai, Federico, dai, che salta, podcastevolo di più.
Amiche e amici, bentrovati a CRESTA ALTA, il podcast di Danilo e Federico Gallinari.
Siamo sempre online con delle novità, mi dicono dalla regia.
Yes, Danny, today we have an incredible guest. We call him Il Martello Polacco, the Polish Hammer is here with us, Marcin Gortat.
Welcome, guys. Martello Polacco. That's
We
fine.
should be able, after having a fire alarm, technical issues, a delayed flight, we finally might be able to record a full-on episode and actually record it for real.
All right.
And as always, is your fault because me and Marcin are very good guys, ready, very professional.
Right? That's what I know. I mean, as far as
You
I
are
know,
the problem.
there's a problem. There's a problem somewhere else, not here.
You are the problem. We are a team, so we try to help you out. As one of our teammates, the younger guy, we try to help you, you know?
There we go. But that's fine. You guys are the vets. You gotta guide me sometimes.
We got to
you know?
take you under the wing right now. Come on.
Yeah. How you doing, Marcin? Where you at?
I'm good. I'm in Orlando right now. Actually, today I have a beautiful weather. The last couple of days was a little chilly, but today actually is beautiful weather. That's what I'm supposed to have here.
Who took you under your wings? Your wings.
When I was young in Orlando, mainly Dwight Howard. I say mainly Dwight Howard, Bo Outlaw, a Donald Foyle, Hidro Turkoglu. Oh yeah, I had a monster squad.
Yes,
I had a monster squad. Yeah, definitely.
You played with Jameer?
Of course, I play with Jameer Nelson. That's my guy.
Jameer was my teammate in Denver,
Correct.
So we both play with Jameer.
We recently had a chance to meet again, and it's unfortunately, the circumstances were very bad. One was Stan Van Gundy's wife passed away, so we met at the funeral, and then literally a few weeks later, my coach from Orlando Magic, Brandon Malone, the father of Michael Malone from Denver Nuggets, passed away also, and I had to fly to New York. So there was actually two reasons why we recently met, and we actually had the whole crew together. So that was really fun.
Okay. Jameer was a very fun guy, and we used to do the warm-ups together, always one next to the other. And one thing that he used to do that it made me laugh so much, but it wasn't a great gesture of him, is that when we were having meetings or team meetings and the coach was talking, he used to fart like crazy. During the meeting, everybody's so focused and thinking about the game plan and everything, and all of a sudden you hear like a bomb.
Right.
Around. And it's Jameer always, every time.
Listen, that was exactly the same when we went to when we were in Orlando, and Dwight would do the same thing, like right before the practice, or we have a shoot around before important games. Stan is explaining stuff, we're gonna do this and this on the pick and roll, we're gonna play this and this way, there's like quiet silence, and all of a sudden it just Dwight like I'm talking about nasty, like I was like, yo, I'm like, what's going on out there? And I'm like, what the hell did you eat, brother? I mean, it was bad.
I think that Dwight, and correct me if I'm wrong or if you played with or against other strong people, but he's top 3 of the strongest guy that I ever played against.
The strongest guy of all time. I mean, I've played, we're talking you have to understand the strength. We're not talking about just simple lifting weight strength, because that's obviously probably Nikola Pekovic. I mean, dude was freaking walking monster. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 130 kilos, clean
Ooh.
freaking muscle. But if you add to that explosiveness, if you add to that speed, quickness, Dwight was just. I mean, there was just like it was not normal. Like he was not human. He was an alien. I mean, I play against him in a practice, and it was devastating what he was doing to me. I mean, oh my God, we had no whistles in the practice, so we literally fought against each other like a couple times in the practice because I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, listen, I'm gonna freaking punch you in the mouth right now because that's ridiculous what you're doing right now. Seriously, to me, he was the strongest guy I know.
I think in my top three, if I'm thinking, I would put Dwight, probably like you mentioned, Pekovic, and then I'll put Steven Adams
Steven
too.
Adams, correct? Yes.
Stevo, especially when we played against, because sometimes to really understand the qualities of a player, you need to play with the player, right?
Right.
And to see him every day, and to play with Stevo in OKC was a great experience. So
Yeah, he's a big dude. He has a big frame. When you actually come close to him and you like look around him, like he has a huge frame. I mean, and then if you
and
add that,
he's also one of the guys that could eat the most
yeah, correct,
out of
yeah,
everybody that I've ever met. We used to go, is crazy. We used to go to dinner together on the road. You go to dinner and he takes appetizers, first course, main course, entrees, desserts, and then he asked the restaurant to take stuff at home so he could eat before he goes to sleep. This is Stevo.
right.
It's amazing. The stuff that he
Talking
was eating, oh my God.
talking about
It's
the beast, yeah.
crazy. By the way, Jamir, do you know what he does right now?
Jamir, if I'm not mistaken, he is assistant coach in. No, hold on. He's a GM in
Yeah.
G League, Philly G League team.
Yes, in the Blue Coast, so which is the 76er G League affiliate team.
Right, correct.
Yep. So now
And
he's
I think he recently got that job. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 6 months ago.
Yeah. So it's his first year. That's pretty interesting. So, but I wanna ask you something, Marcin. Tell me a little bit about your process to get to the NBA. Just make sure I wanna make sure our fan can get to know you, know a little bit more about you.
I'm gonna go really, short. I'm gonna make my life very short. But at age 10, I was playing soccer as a goalie, and at age almost 18, 17 and a half, 18, I decided to play basketball. At age 21, I was drafted to the NBA. At age 23, I made it to the NBA. So my career was pretty quick, I would say. Being the goalie in soccer actually helped me a lot, because of the hands and the footwork as a goalie. It helped me to play later in the league with Steve Nash and John Wall, Bradley Beal, and with Gallo. It always you all.
But Gallo wasn't passing the ball, so it's all good.
He was passing the ball. No, he was passing the ball, but I mean, he's a scorer, but he was passing the ball. I know more scorers that didn't want to pass the ball, but I know more guys like that. But no, Gala was passing the ball, and especially when we played together, we didn't have so much time together, but we played together, and the soccer helped me. I made it with a 57 pick to the league, as I mentioned before. I'm one of two players at 57 pick in NBA that survive in this league that long. Me and Manu Ginobili. Only the difference is Manu has the championships. I don't. Little difference.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I recently said at the interview also that I'm glad I was actually drafted in the second round because I didn't have any pressure. I'm looking at the players right now coming out of colleges or out of Europe. There's this pressure on them. They have to perform, they have to score, they got to produce the numbers. Eventually, they got to become the all-stars. There's a huge expectations on them, and sometimes that's not easy to carry for the young man. So, being 57 pick in the draft actually was kind of a relief for me because I didn't have that pressure. I only had to focus on playing basketball, on working out hard, and when I get the chance, just to play hard and do your best. And I try to use that opportunity.
What was your constant in your career that made you able to make it as a 57th pick?
What was well, I would say
lifting weights.
lifting
sure.
weights. Yeah, I say the work ethic was the number one. As Gallo knows, lifting weights in the morning was a standard. That's how the practice starts for me. Lifting weights. Shirtless. You go shirtless. Remember, Monday is always upper body. Is always upper body first. Middle of the week we go with the legs, and towards the weekend we go with the biceps. And
after every rep, you can flex a little bit on the mirror, and you look at yourself, appreciate your body and yourself.
Correct, because that's mentally it builds you up. When I was in Washington last year as assistant coach, and I work out with a few of these young guys. I mean, they don't understand. They looking at me as a 40 years old coach taking off the shirt. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, dude, you gotta get yourself motivated.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm 40 years old and I'm taking off my shirt and I feel like I'm looking good, and you 20 whatever years old and you are afraid to take off that shirt, I mean, come on, man, that's something wrong. But
I actually did it today. I was working out, I took off my shirt, did a couple of sets, look at myself, flex a little bit,
but that gets you confidence.
Back.
That gets you confidence, and you gotta understand, you gotta do whatever gets you going. I also observed that a little bit around the NBA. Some guys likes to talk to themselves, like guys missing shots, guys playing one-on-one, and he's talking to himself like, okay, March, you got to do better, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, hey, whatever it takes, man. If you got to talk to yourself, if you got to slap your face, you got to slap yourself in the face, do it, man. Whatever works for you. And working lifting weights shirtless, for me, it was working. So that's what I was doing. And reason why I was working, the reason what I was also successful is because I truly believe that I was always available. What I mean by that, I didn't miss games, and staying, healthy, and lifting weights obviously prevent from the injuries, and that was my biggest thing.
They say availability is the best ability. So
correct. That's a great
point. You see, now he's a coach. Federico is a coach, so he has to learn how all these, saying that he can come up in a when he has to talk to the team, and he can, talk all these kind of things. You must. What is the skill and the will? Which one is that one? The wheel must be stronger than the skill.
Yeah, the will must be stronger than the skill. Of course.
You remember my last tip to you for you. You gotta remember, us, me, Gallo, and other guys from Europe. We deliver our culture to the table. When we deliver culture to the table, and particularly, I'm sitting with Gallo and I'm talking to him about AC Milan, Juventus, and Roma, and we talk about all the soccer teams, and other guys are listening at the table. We are sharing our culture. We are sharing what we do, what we're talking about, and stuff like that. And you got to do the same thing when you go to the team as an international coach. You gotta continue to teach these guys not only basketball skills on the court, but you gotta, like I told you, gotta teach them something about, like, hey, give me one or two names the most important people from Italy, or like a historical a person, from Italy. That's something you can obviously first teach them what was the capital of Italy,
There we
because
go.
that's
Hey, it's not easy. Like a lot of
that's
people do
like,
not know it, which is
dude, like
crazy.
seriously.
What is the capital, my brother Federico, the capital of Poland?
I'm not good in geography. I'm not good
Oh
in.
my
Oh my
God.
God! Come on, brother.
We are talking about European being prepared and
No,
educated and all that stuff.
He's
In
not
you were.
geography, you
ready.
don't know.
He's not ready.
No, I think we can close the podcast here. This is not. This is not
The
good.
capital of Poland is Warsaw. Warsaw. How do
Warsaw.
you say
All
that?
right. All right. He
There
just
we go.
Googled. You can see he's reading. Like, you can see he's like Googling really quick.
I did my work. I had to do my
Hey, but
work.
at least you're a smart man.
You
You
see?
ask Uncle Google. You ask Uncle Google what's happening out there. All right.
Exactly.
I have to
Exactly.
say, me and Marcin, we didn't spend a lot of time on the court, but off the
Oh
court
yeah,
in
yeah.
LA, we spend a lot of time together, a lot of quality time together.
Well,
Quality dinners in LA. Quality
the
dinners in
quality
LA.
dinners in LA with the wingman wingman assist.
I have to say, I gave a lot of assist
Oh yes.
off the court
Oh
back in the
yes.
day, in those times, and I have to say that Marcin was always ready to answer the call, because sometimes you have to be ready in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and in LA there is traffic. And Marcin used to live in one of the best houses in LA with the best view and everything.
Hey,
So it wasn't easy to move around, but Marcin was ready,
I
was
was
always
very,
ready, and
very professional, right? I was very professional
very
about it.
Yeah.
professional, very
Right. I
professional.
As
mean,
we said, availability is the best ability.
and
At 3
that's
a.m.
how you
available.
that's how you survive 12 years in the league. That's what you got to do.
Exactly. So, Marcin, we have a lot of coaches and players that follow us, and I don't think they know, but we know that in the NBA they still talk about you because of a screen that was named after you, which is the Gortat Screen. So, I would like you to explain a little bit what that is, and the work that there is behind to be able to be known for that screen.
I will try to just add one thing for people that really don't understand this concept. I repeat, in the NBA today, and Marcin hasn't played in the NBA for some years now.
5 years.
In the NBA now, they're still talking about every day in every practice around the league. You have to think, guys, that somebody's talking about Marcin Gortat Screen. It's pretty amazing legacy, and is a very important concept that Marcin will explain to you guys. This is great for especially coaches.
Yeah.
So, Gortat Screen came up, obviously. I came up with that on the court, just watching the coverage back in the day that the New York Knicks was doing on our team in Washington, and I came up with that. But in order to do the right screen, first of all, honestly, you gotta lift weights. That's number one. I mean, the amount of situations, the amount of possessions you have to give up your body, and as you're gonna have to hit guards, not only guards but wingmen and centers. You're gonna have to hit so many times. Then you really have to be tough and have the body armor that you're wearing up front. You gotta be actually trained. That's number one. Two, as soon as you're going to understand you're doing this with a purpose to make the team better, that's how you also going to become better, because most of the guys don't want to do those screens because they're giving up their position to score, and that's tough. I understand that, but there was a time in my career that I decided to start doing it because I wanted to contribute to the team, not only by standing in a corner or standing under the basket, but I want to just do something that's going to help the team to win the game and also help my guards to score. So um, I came up with that. Sign, little pinch. Me and John and Bradley Beal. Every time when I said we're gonna do pinch, I'm gonna do screen. I'm actually gonna screen my own man. And dude, when they start doing when we start doing it, I mean, these guys are completely flipped. Like every possession, they were pinching. I'm like, guys, we can't do that every possession. It doesn't work like that. We need to find for the right we gotta wait for the right moment. But the most important thing is you gotta lift the weights. You gotta set the right angle. The angle is very, very important. If you are setting a screen for the shooter, you gotta make sure, I mean, shooter or non-shooter, it doesn't matter. You gotta make sure the guard's gonna go over the top, over the screen. That's the most important thing. When the guard goes over the screen, it has to keep the separation between. He has to close the gate between the screen and himself. And then you need the right timing. You gotta be able to go at the same time, attack the basket and roll at the same time. So at some point, big man's gonna set a screen for you, and you gotta come off his back. So it's doable. You gotta train this, and as crazy as it sounds, you don't have to do it with the full speed. You just gotta. The guard has to be very, very patient, wait for the big man to set the right screen with the right angle, and then the guard has to use that angle. He needs to stop at the top of the screen, keep the guard on the back, kind of keep him on his butt, and when he keeps his guard on his back, there's the time when the big man can roll and the guard can attack. So I've been trying to teach that couple guys. I've been trying to work with Shea back in LA Clippers, but unfortunately he was too raw, too wild at that time. I think he was a rookie in the league, and he was just. I mean, he's super talented, but he wasn't ready for that. So I will probably need a couple more months or a couple more games to work on that. But I'm happy. I'm excited that something like Gortat Screen survived in the league, and now I'm kind of like living my legacy. It's unbelievable. I mean, I will never ever expect that after 12 years in NBA, I'm gonna come to the point where there's gonna be a screen with my name.
I think that somebody that played with you and used the screen very much in DC gave you and the team a very good gift. If I remember well this story.
Yes. Well, so the story is we received from John Wall. We have received watches, Rolex watches, and it was kind of like a race between John Wall and Bradley Beal. Not like a bad race in a meaning of bad way. It was just kind of like who's gonna give teammates better things. So if I'm not mistaken, John Wall came up with like headphones. It was ear pads. Then Bradley came with the Samsung Galaxy phone, Galaxy 5, with different phones, different tablets. Then John Wall came back and he bought everybody watches. And as crazy as it sounds too, me and Thomas Sadorinsky, we are sitting in New York, and Brett and John said, "Hey guys, coach just finished the meeting," and John said, "Hey guys, just wait a minute. I have a gift for y'all. Just wait a minute. They're gonna bring it in a second." And then and Thomas was like, "What did you buy? You bought a watch for everybody?" And he turned around and he started smiling, and we are like, "Yo, like really? Like seriously?" And the guy just there was like a couple guys walked in and they deliver oyster for everybody with the name on the back of the watch.
Wow.
30
Wow.
Obviously the first thing I did was I'll take a picture quickly, send it to my guy in a Rolex store. I was like, yo, tell me how much this thing costs. He's like, yo, between 35 to 40. I was like, whoa. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
So he probably won the race.
Yeah, so yeah, it's I ain't gonna tell the whole story with those watches, but yeah, that's what happened, because there's actually funny ending to that story too, but I can't really say it.
So Marcin, on this podcast, we talk about basketball, but we talk about life and we like to share experiences that are not just basketball. And that's just the way the podcast has been since the beginning. I know that you are a very cultural guy. You did a lot of things outside of basketball. You still doing it, and you have done some amazing thing. We will need to write a book about the stuff that you have done in all your life because it's pretty amazing. It always amazed me how prepared and educated you are on history and culture, not just from your country, Poland, but in Europe in general and other countries too. Can you talk to us a little bit what you did in Ukraine? Because I think is a pretty amazing story. If you can share with us.
Right. So as you see right now, I'm actually wearing a Ukraine T-shirt, and yeah, I mean, everything started obviously 2 years ago when the war started. And, the first days of the war was very tough for us Polish people. We not only open our houses for the Ukrainian refugees, but we also start sending tons of stuff to Ukraine to help out, and obviously our government sent a lot of weapon and stuff to a lot of stuff, military stuff to Poland. But the first weeks were very difficult. A lot of people decide to escape Poland because they thought that Russia's going to go through Ukraine in a week, and next thing we know, they're going to be in Poland. So a lot of people actually escape also from Poland, but then after a couple of weeks, things start kind of like cooling off, and obviously the whole war stayed in Ukraine and in the kind of other side of the Ukraine, and I decided that I want to help out too. I finished the military medic certificate. I've been training for the past not only 2 years. The last 2 years I was training actually very very like I would say I trained a lot, but I've been training since I finished playing basketball. I've been training military stuff and different techniques, but the last 2 years was very intense. Went to Ukraine twice. The first time I went just to explore and see what's happening out there. I brought a lot of humanitarian aid. I went to actually Bakhmut, where I was able to drive around Bakhmut. I've seen people walking in Bakhmut, and you would say that the city that is under the siege, doesn't look like that, but actually it was kind of crazy to see people soldiers standing in the lines, and you can hear their explosions left and right, and we are in the we are in the MRAP transporter that that's fully armored, and you got people standing with the dogs, and dog is pissing on the grass, and I was like, why are they not hiding in the basements? Then we ask me and a couple soldiers, we asked these people, like, why you guys not hiding? The Russians are coming. And they were like, good, you guys should leave. We waiting for them. And it was just like devastating, because there was like a 10-15% of population of that city that it was actually waiting for them to come, and they were just like happy that they are coming. So the Ukrainian soldiers were like, why would we want to save them? Like just let's go. And the second time I went there 6 months later as a military medic to help out, and Bakhmut was already gone. I mean, there was just the city was razed off the ground. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And trust me, it's unbelievable how things works over there. It's couple kilometers from the main area where it's the red zone and the fighting. You have the gas station working with the hot dogs and everything else. Like it's unbelievable. Like it's really unbelievable. You can buy gas couple kilometers of the front lines.
That's crazy. It's an amazing thing, though. It's an amazing thing. What brought you to, like, when did you start working with the army, and why?
I've during my career, I was able to go to Afghanistan to meet Polish troops. There is a reason why I have on my arm the logo of the Special Forces logo.
Okay.
And I went there to meet them because I've been doing a lot of charity work for them, for their families, for the kids of the Special Forces families. They also award me with the special logo. only few people been awarded with that. So I received that kind of like a little medal. And I asked them if I can do the logo on my hand, if I can tattoo the logo on my hand, and they said, yeah, sure, you deserve it. So I've done it, and I've been working with them since I've been playing in the league. But like I said, when I finished playing basketball, I decided to do a little bit more training, more advanced training. I personally do have a lot of military stuff at home. I have the full gear, night vision goggles, thermovision sights, and all kind of weapons.
Hey, your WhatsApp profile picture is tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
So
God.
I mean, this is something, I rather be prepared. I mean, right across the border from Poland, we still have a war, so you better be prepared. I'm staying in shape, and I think I will still go to Ukraine to help out because they need help.
That's an incredible story. Danny, I leave you the space for your last question. So it's on you now.
The last question that we close the podcast with is simple, but sometimes it's tough it takes time to think about it. But I think I've asked you this question before, so I think you will be prepared, my brother. But if you have to take somebody at dinner or interview somebody that is alive or not alive, a man or a woman, who would you take to dinner, or who would you invite, or would you interview?
Well, I'll definitely go with Muhammad Ali. I will try to talk to him, and there would be, obviously, I will have a bunch of questions for him. Also, for the reason why is because I had a chance to actually see him and shake his hand. But back in the Phoenix, when I was playing, he was already off. He wasn't really, he didn't really have that contact with people. But he was at the game a couple times, and I was able to see him. It was pretty cool to get to know him and shake his hand. But I will also love to have guys like Napoleon, Churchill, probably like Stalin. Like, I would ask a bunch of questions like, dude, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go into a history as that kind of person? Like, there will be a lot of questions I will ask.
This will be heavy conversations.
Oh, man. Super heavy. We would need that limoncello. We will need that fuel. We will need that fuel.
Limoncello will be served for sure.
It will be served like a very good one, an old one too.
Yeah. He's in love with limoncello now. Danilo made you try now.
He did, and it was crazy because I didn't know at the beginning. But then he said, like, we went to Via Alloro, and he said, we're gonna get you after dessert, for the dessert after pasta, we're gonna get you something nice. They bring in that yellow liquid stuff, and I was like, what is this? Like, I'm drinking Hennessy, I'm drinking brown stuff, you bring in wrong colors, and then next thing you know, he brought me limoncello. It was just unbelievable. Wow. I mean, since that day, I'm like, limoncello is just the main weapon in my
arsenal.
In my arsenal, it's my main weapon out there, right?
Great. We reached the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Marci, to come in and talk with us. Great chat. We're gonna invite you again. So, guys, make sure you leave a like, comment, and share with everybody. Up to the next one.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Ciao.
Fuori dal blocco, prendo la palla, tiro da tre. I due fratelli spiegano il gioco solo per te. Apri le ali a testa alta, segui il podcast. Gallina e CRESTA ALTA, questo è il podcast.